I met an e-commerce brand owner who was using WhatsApp to communicate with his team and provide feedback on single email designs. As you can imagine, feedback was getting lost, approvals were missed, deadlines were not being sent, and every single email that they wanted to send was a huge scramble with a ton of stress. Today, we're breaking down the email marketing tech stack that high-performing e-commerce brands are using to run retention efficiently. This isn't just about software. This is about creating a reliable system that you can use day in, day out to execute with speed and creative clarity so that you can finally turn email into a predictable revenue channel. By the end of this video, you'll have a full view of the tools and structure that e-commerce companies are using to run email efficiently and consistently generate high revenues. First things first, let's talk about your customers for a second. So I want you to imagine that you're a customer of your own brand and you have no real cadence of the emails that are coming out. They're always feeling like they're a little bit rushed, a little bit last minute, or not really thought through that well. When emails arrive late, or the design looks rushed, or the copy's a little bit off or stretching for a particular angle, customers start to notice, and not just consciously but emotionally. They soon begin to sense that you're not quite organized, you're not quite putting so much thought and effort into the emails that you're sending, and then unconsciously they start to think, well, what's the point in me opening these emails because they can barely be bothered to send them to me. Psychologically, humans crave reliability, and so the brands that feel a bit more put together and organized are the ones that unconsciously people trust more. A well-run email system taps into that craving for rhythm and familiarity. So let's walk through the exact tech stack that we use at Surefire Media. Number one is obvious. The email software that you should be using if you're an e-commerce brand is Klaviyo. This is the core of everything that you do. And I know that Klaviyo can get expensive at times, but it really is the best software out there for e-commerce companies. You'll never have more data, and as long as you're utilizing it properly, you will see an ROI. The second is your design software. So we use Figma and Photoshop for this. Typically, we use Photoshop to design those creatives that are a little bit more out there, that require a little bit more customization. But then Figma is where we build everything, and it's where we collaborate as well. So in here, people can leave comments, they can collaboratively work on specific parts of the email. So no more vague WhatsApp messages telling you to change this color blue in the top half of the email or move the CTA down a little bit when there's 6 CTAs in the email. It allows you to become a lot more specific with the feedback that you're providing, and so there's no room for confusion and no room for any approvals that get missed or overlooked. For internal communications, we use Slack. We have a lot of different clients who prefer different softwares. Some use WhatsApp, some use Slack, some just prefer email, but typically we use Slack for the majority because this allows us to integrate automations in there. So whenever there's an email that's for approval or there's a comment that's been made inside of Figma, then we get tagged in Slack immediately. So we love to use that because we keep everything in one place. All the automations, all the updates, whether it's coming from Figma or monday.com or any of the other softwares we use. I just gave you a little hint there into what's next, but it's really the best we find as a business. If it's a little bit too expensive for you, then you can just use WhatsApp. It's pretty good as well, but typically when it comes to giving feedback and stuff, we don't do that in WhatsApp. Keep that in Figma. Number 4 is monday.com, as I just mentioned. So this is our CRM. This is where everything lives. So we keep all of the campaign content that we've got going out. We've got all of the statuses. We track the copy. We track the briefs, any review stages, any A/B tests that we've got going on, launch deadlines. Nothing falls through the cracks when we keep everything organized in Monday. It's a fantastic tool. Again, can be a little bit expensive at times, but we find that for the amount of use that we get out of it and for actually keeping all of the information that we need in one place with specific deadlines, all color coded, it's beautiful. Number 5 is Google Sheets. So this is free for the most part, I believe, but this is where we do all of our planning. So content calendars, campaign strategies, mapping out analytics or data, or doing complicated maths equations. Google Sheets is fantastic, and it might be quite an obvious one, but a lot of people still use Excel, and I hate using Excel. I used to be an Excel guy, but when you are collaborating with multiple people, each person you send that Excel file to has to download the file, and then they have to edit it, and then they have to send it back, and then you re-download it, and you can't really work on it as collaboratively as Google Sheets. So any changes that I'm making inside of Google Sheets, you can instantly see me making them, same as Figma. So I guess it's just a little bit more collaborative, and that's why we use it. The 6th type of tech software that we use is deliverability based software. So we're using a variety of different things here. The main ones that we use for inbox placement and just checking how we're performing in terms of our deliverability is MailGenius and GlockApps. You can also use Klaviyo's inbuilt deliverability checker. I find that MailGenius and GlockApps are a little bit more strict and maybe a little bit more reliable reliable. But those are two good ones that you can use to get an idea of how well your deliverability score is doing. Another software that we use is called Demarkian. So when you first set up your domain with email, you want to make sure that your company domain for your website is linked to your email account, your Klaviyo account, and you need to set up a DMARC record for that. So we use Demarkian to do this. It's free, I believe, to get that set up and then put a DMARC record onto your account. The actual user experience of using it I found was pretty good, so use that software so that you can take the DMARC, put it into your domain. And the final piece of software that I'm going to share today is our own custom AI assistant. So we developed this in-house via ChatGPT. It's very simple to create this, nothing too complicated, but these AI tools allow us to draft email copy, think of new subject lines, review the psychological implications of an email, or kind of predict how well it's going to resonate with people. We make sure that the way we code the bots is based on each company. So we have one per client that we work with, and it allows the copy that we write to stay on brand. Not only does it do copy, but it also does content calendars as well. So again, anywhere you've got a creative bottleneck in your business, you can use this bot to come up with new ideas, fresh ideas. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on that because I'm going to do another video on it, but look into it, it's worth it. So when you've got all of these different areas, different softwares working together in harmony, the whole system just works so beautifully. So approvals get done a lot quicker, the testing becomes second nature, campaigns actually go out on time, which is actually quite a big problem when you don't have this level of organization. And the best part about this is that for our clients at least, we manage all of this at Surefire Media. So we're the ones who've built these systems, we run these systems, we manage them, and the client just very simply slots into them and has very little to do with the management, very little to do with overseeing it and making sure it's running. They just have kind of visibility of everything. So some mistakes that we've seen that can slow you down or can just cause way too much stress to make any of this worth doing that we've seen over the past 4, 5, 6, 7 years, I think in total. Here's a few of those mistakes. So the first one is using too many of these disconnected tools. So providing feedback, for example, on emails should always remain in Figma, or always remain in that one place where you're talking about the emails. You don't want to then switch over to WhatsApp or over to Slack where, you've got two different sources of where you're giving that feedback, because something will get missed. Now, of course, for any complex ideas, sometimes it's better to just get on a call, to be honest, but for the majority of time, don't use more than one place. Always have one source of truth for any kind of specific activity, and then that minimizes any chance of mistakes. The second mistake that we see is building emails once, doing just a first draft basically, and then making it live. So not only do we use AI to help us write the initial draft, but then it goes through multiple revisions before we consider it polished, clean, and ready to go. So you don't just want to use ChatGPT to spin up 10 emails all in one prompt, because they're going to be garbage. And make sure that you do it multiple times and ask it questions as well. So you can have full conversations with ChatGPT. As you will know, I spend way too much time talking to ChatGPT, to be honest, but you can have full conversations with a custom bot that is specifically for copywriting of your brand, for example, and that will help you to eliminate some of the rubbish, eliminate the typical ChatGPT-esque tone and phrases that it uses, and to really make sure that the email you're writing serves a purpose. So don't just do it once, do it multiple times. And the final mistake I'm going to feature is no visibility over your pipeline. So this is a big problem that we see with brands who they just have no idea what emails are going out and when. They're just kind of firing from the hip, so to speak, where they come up with an idea and they send it, but the email that they sent at the start of the month has nothing to do with what's going on at the end. This is something that I think is one of the main benefits of working with Surefire Media, is that we map out these content calendars 6 to 8 weeks in advance, and so we always kind of know what direction we're going in, what the purpose of each email serves. So make sure that that's something that you put effort into. Build out a content calendar and have an idea what you're going to send this month, a rough idea of the next month, and maybe some themes for the month after, and then you can map out your whole marketing calendar for a year. I would give this some real attention, because at the end of the day, those people who are on your email list, they're receiving your emails, they're seeing what you send, and if you're sending conflicting messages or just quite frankly crap in their inbox whenever you get a chance to send an email, then they're just going to switch off. They're not really going to value your brand that much. So what can you do today? What can you do right now to improve this? Well, the first thing is to audit the stack that you've got. Now, I tend to put costs to the side for this. I go for efficiency and quality first. Some people are different and prefer to, minimize their costs, which I understand, but I fundamentally disagree with you. I think that you should be looking at the amount of time that you're wasting using some of these outdated tools that are taking too much of your time. You don't want to be managing these softwares or systems or whatever, you want to be utilizing them and dipping in and out of them as little as possible, only when necessary, so that you can drive your business forward. The second thing is to use Monday for workflows. So we break down every single stage in an email, and it might be from the brief of the email to the copywriting to the design, to then adding design edits and then getting it approved from a client and then building it in Klaviyo and then scheduling it and doing all of these things. There's so many different steps. I think there's like 10 steps just to do one email. So all of this, if you're managing a content calendar of 10 emails per month, it's absolute murder to try and manage that all in your head or all in WhatsApp or all in Slack. So use some kind of software like Monday so that you can organize this and reliably be able to check up on where each email is each month. And then again, it will just make the whole process a lot easier for you to manage. Number 3 is to integrate some testing tools. So make sure you're doing deliverability checks every now and then so that you've got a rough idea of where your deliverability is sitting. Are you landing in people's inboxes? Are you going to spam? What percentage of people are actually seeing your emails? And then use that to determine what your actual ROI from email is. Because if the majority of people don't see, because you're not improving your deliverability and you're constantly blasting a list and you've got no idea of where your deliverability sits, your opinion of how email performs will be in the toilet. You'll think email's garbage because you don't know how to manage it correctly. So make sure you integrate these test tools. Make sure you take a look behind the curtain at how your actual domain is performing. And if it's not doing well, then you need to fix it. Number 4, start a content calendar. So like I say, even if you just do themes for each month, like if you're a health brand, for example, then I believe there's a theme for every single month of the year, whether it's like breast cancer awareness or men's XYZ mental health awareness, whatever it may be. There's always something that you can do each month, and it might seem kind of cliche or it might seem overplayed, and it is to a degree, but at the same time, these angles like your Father's Day, your Mother's Day, Black Friday, they could be considered overplayed, but they're also evergreen angles that they do work every single year. So make sure that you've got a content calendar and at least have some kind of rough plan of where you're going each month. The further forward you come, the better your emails are going to kind of congruently line up with each other. And number 5 is to use AI, but use it intentionally. So again, I can tell instantly when a email is ChatGPT. I can already sense the tone. I can see the big EM dash thing. I can hear the it's not this, it's why typical kind of copy that it uses. It's like it was trained on copy 5 years ago and it hasn't updated since. I don't know. But it's very obvious when you've got a ChatGPT email. And I tend to see that the less time that you spend with your prompts and having an actual conversation with the bot, the poorer the quality of the email. So AI in general, if you just use it like a generalist, is going to be but if you use it specifically, make sure you put effort into your prompts. You're going to get a good result eventually. So that's everything from me. Hopefully this has helped. I really recommend that you take the time to build these systems. We've spent so much time on these systems and now they run so smoothly, and the whole process is a lot easier for us to manage, not just us, but our clients. And it's genuinely enjoyable to actually fulfill this process each day. You really need to put effort into the system, and then once you've got the system working, it'll be a doddle to manage your email moving forward. Well, not a doddle, but you get the idea. It becomes a lot more enjoyable for you to do it. Now, if this sounds like a lot of work, it's because it is. So rather than build all of this yourself, you can just essentially rent our systems where we'll manage it for you if you hire Surefire Media. So take a look into our case studies or any of the tools that we've mentioned here or any of the testimonials we've got on our website. Consider hiring us because we can run this software for you with very little effort on your behalf because we already do it so successfully for so many other companies. So why not join us as well? I'll put links to all of these different tech stack things in the description below. Besides that, if you enjoyed the video, if you want to see more of this content, if you've got any ideas for me, feel free to comment or subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.